Are you excited? Come on, don't be bashful now that I turned the camera on. Alright, good afternoon y'all. I'm about ready to head out to part of Gifford Pinchot National Forest. I'm going to be going off of a forest road that is about 18-20 miles from my house. So that's pretty cool. I didn't know I was that close to the forest. And going to be shooting for Newaukum Lake, as close as I can get to there. The map that I'm using is called Avenza. It's something I think is actually, well, I don't know if the Forest Service owns Avenza, but I'm going to be using the motor vehicle use map that the Forest Service recommends to use when you're messing around in the forest, I guess. And I've actually found that it's pretty helpful. I know that there are a lot of apps like iOverlander, there's Sonics Off-Road, and some other ones. And I have used those a little bit, but I think you have to pay money to get like the full use out of them, and I'm cheap. So if I can find ways to use, you know, actual paper maps and things like Avenza, which some of the maps aren't free, but at least the Gifford Pinchot one is. And it's nice because it does still work off of GPS, so even if I don't have cell service, it'll show where I'm at on the map. And I try to scout out where I'm trying to go with Google Maps beforehand, but what I do is I'll find a spot that I want to go to with the Avenza map, put the cursor over like the whatever dispersed camping spot that I'm trying to look for, which is also something nice about that motor vehicle use map, is that with gray dots it shows where dispersed camping spots are. And it's been pretty accurate from what I've seen. There, I think, are more spots than what's actually on the map as opposed to less, so that's a plus. But anyway, so I'll find wherever I'm trying to go with that, get the coordinates, pop that into Google Maps, and then kind of scout out the area on Google Maps. And it does help that I am somewhat familiar with these areas because I've lived here even though I haven't went on most of these forest roads before. So still learning about how to use maps and different navigation techniques, but hopefully we'll find a good place that is cooler because it's 82. So a lot of you that may be not hot at all, but to me, I'm definitely like a prefer things no hotter than 70 kind of person. So yeah, hopefully we'll find some shade. Got the puppers back here, my little DIY backseat kennel cage deal. And yeah, we're gonna get going. Alright, so this is supposed to be Forest Road 71, and since I see a lot of logging truck gear, I'm going to assume also because this is a national forest that there very well could be logging gear. So I'm probably not going to film a whole lot just because I want to be able to watch for log trucks that might be coming down. I mean, it is 4:17, so hopefully they would be done working by now. But yeah, not going to have my tunes on either because I want to really be able to hear what's going on, and I don't really know what to expect, so let's go explore. Man, look at that view of Mount St. Helens. Oh, it's not showing up as well on the phone, but you can see a lot up here. And I mean, I guess you could probably technically camp right here if you wanted to, but I'm gonna keep on trucking. All right, so I'm about 3 or 4 miles up 71. It looks like I'm probably another half a mile to a mile from the junction where 71 splits off into other sub roads. I don't know what you would call that, but I've passed, gosh, 5 or 6 different logging road equipment, some actual logging trucks, another like contractor looking truck, and it's probably not actually a tractor, I don't know what it is, but some other Panda stuff. She's like walking in circles. But yeah, I found this actually really cool area to pull over. I mean, it appears that somebody has camped or at least had a fire because there's a pit, oops, there. and some other random burned wood, and some actually cool trails up in here. So I want to kind of walk on those just a little bit. I mean, I probably could drive on them, but I don't really want to do that. I just want to check them out a little bit, and it's 4:40 right now, so I think I'll do a little bit of walking around, and hopefully by 5 there'll be less logging road traffic. Now, if that's not a view, I don't know what is. The lens is making it look a lot farther away and smaller than it actually is, but it looks more like that in real life. God, it's just, I can't believe that it looks so close. This is what we're dealing with on the other side. I guess you could technically camp right there. I'm half tempted to. Just because, I mean, the sunrise view of that in the morning would just be chef's kiss. But I should be pretty close to Newaukum Lake, and hopefully there'll be a similar view. Plus, since there is obviously active logging up here, I'm guessing that this area probably would need to be used for log trucks, and I don't really know if I'd want to camp right there. But that doesn't mean that maybe on the way down, when I'm ready to come home at the end of the week, that I wouldn't try that out. So this is probably the closest to rock crawling or real overlanding that I've ever done. I don't know how well you can see. This part of the road's actually pretty nice. I think I scraped on a few limbs. Hopefully I don't have any new dents or scratches. I'm hoping that the few scrapey sounds I heard was not my differential dragging. But I guess we'll find out. Alright, so I think I found a spot that'll do. So there's not really anything behind me, trail-wise or road-wise. And there's also like a little area over here. So this is one of the gray dots that means dispersed camping on the Avenza map. And ooh, we got a nice little area back here. Yeah, this is a pretty sweet spot. Shit, I might have to put on some bug spray. This is bad. I go walk this way. Leave the doggo in the car for a minute while I explore. But the main reason that I'm not super comfortable with continuing on is actually just as I got right there, there was another truck that was going in the opposite direction. So the leaving direction, and I feel pretty lucky that I haven't had to deal with any cars when I've been on these narrow roads. It seems like every time if I do pass a car, I'm in a spot that's wide enough to pull over, but that was definitely something I was a little worried about with this area, because this part of the road looks a little bit wider, but some of the other parts I was on is so narrow, I mean, there'd just be no way. So yeah, I don't really want to keep walking that way. Without the doggo, at least. Let's see, call this home for tonight. Man, I don't know if you guys can see the flies, but Jesus. I gotta get some bug spray. But, oh man, these flies are bad. I don't know. I've never had flies this bad. Alright, so change of plans. I'm actually not gonna stay in this spot. The flies are pretty ridiculous. I've sprayed quite a bit of this stuff. I've never experienced flies quite like this, and I mean, if I was just by myself, I would probably just tough it out and find a new spot tomorrow, since it's already past 7 o'clock and I don't really want to just be driving around when it gets dark. And I really like this spot, but I mean, Panda's just constantly biting at the flies, and I can tell she's just not having a good time. But you can't really, probably wouldn't be able to tell. But there are flies like all over my truck. I mean, there is a ridiculous amount of flies. So what I think I'm going to do, well, definitely going to get out of here. And there's a few spots that I can see that might be promising with views. Going up 71 a little bit. And if that doesn't look promising, then I will probably turn around and go back down and go in one of those spots that I had the beautiful view of the mountain. As far as options that I would enjoy, I don't know if there's a whole lot else, at least on this main line. There's a place called Lookout Peak that's, I don't know, I'm guessing 3 or 4 miles from here, but the farther I was going on 71, it looked like it was going down in elevation, and I figure I'm not going to have the kind of mountain views that I would be hoping for. So I like this area better. And there were definitely a lot of other cool places that I saw on my way up here. The downside is, so yeah, I want to have a more incognito look for tonight until I see what kind of traffic meanders by here. I don't think I'll have a problem going to the bathroom inside my canopy. I don't see any reason why I can't just set my bucket up in there. So that's probably what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna set my stove and things up. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll just put the stove on the tailgate. Because the dilemma that I'm facing is that I have all of my kitchen type stuff in a couple of tote bags, because I was figuring I'd have an area where I could set up kitchen. But since there's actual possibility of like there actually being bears and stuff out here, I shouldn't leave my food out and things like that out anyway. So yeah, I guess I'll figure something out. Maybe I'll just pull out what I need and then put things back in the bags. I guess it's not that big a deal. But yeah, I'm gonna try to cook, and I'll update you guys maybe later tonight or in the morning. Alright, so quick update. I had to do a little cleanup on aisle 3 because my stuff was everywhere in here, which I'm honestly surprised about because I've definitely driven on roads that I think were as bad. Like even getting to the Rife Lake spot, there were some potholes and things like that. And even the road that my mom and I tried to go on, which I think was 73, there was also a lot of like really bad potholes. So I actually drove slower on this 71-115 than I usually drive, just because I wasn't sure about all the topsy-turvy. And I only had a few things dump out when I found that first spot. So I'm honestly surprised that more stuff dumped out leaving, because one of the supports for the cabinets did appear to break, which kind of sucks because I have plenty of tools, but I don't have any screws or anything that I know of to fix it, or else, you know, I could fix it somehow. So, and let's see, can you see right here? So the cabinet had moved off of the floor also, which I honestly don't know how that happened. So the floor is actually anchored on both sides by my bed. So I have no idea how it was able to move that much. This one seems to stay in place just fine, and nothing moved around in there. So I think it's mostly just this cabinet, which is also the first one I built. So the construction is probably not the best. Because I was still learning, and this is my first ever construction project. But I guess when I'm done with this trip, I can fix my cabinets. Oh boy. And at least now I know there's a lot of things that I need to improve to do that kind of off-roading. I think what I would do is just put all of my cans and spices, everything in little totes that actually have lids, because I think if things are more packed together, they're not going to move around. And I might get something like maybe put some kind of a hook, something here to where I can actually, either with a bungee cord or something of that nature, close all of these cabinets so they can't open, because the latches just don't seem to hold them well enough when I'm actually driving on that kind of bumpy road. I actually do have bungee cord. Maybe I'll play around with that tomorrow. But I'm gonna have my classic Walmart chili. This seems to be the thing that I eat every time that I go camping on my first night. Because it seems that usually by the time I've found a spot, I mean, I could cook, but after opening up my tailgate and seeing that pot mess, I'm just kind of want to be able to enjoy the nature. Probably go to bed a little on the early side. Definitely after dark, so I want to see the stars, but I also want to get up early enough, hopefully, to see the sunrise over the mountain. But yeah, I'm gonna enjoy my chili, bring the doggo out, and hopefully not have to clean any more messes up. Alright, and I found the windmills yet again. It's not showing up on my phone camera very well, but those little... Oh, there you go. You can see these ones over here, and then there's more over here. But yeah, it's 8 o'clock or almost 8 o'clock. And shocker, I'm back in the spot that I think around 5 o'clock. So I was looking back at my footage. I was saying that I really wanted to camp at. That I was pretty dead set on finding that Newaukum Lake area. But that, I don't know, that just didn't turn out like I thought it would. Because to be honest, I don't see where the lake even could be. Because as I was driving back this way, I carefully kept trying to look down the cliff to my driver's side, and I didn't see any sign of a lake. So I don't know if it's just like super far down. So I had found a video on YouTube that was titled something about Newaukum Lake. But I don't know. I don't know exactly where it's at. I just know that according to the map, the area where it appears to be near, I don't see any signs of how to get to it. So maybe tomorrow I'll try looking for it on foot, since I'm only about, I think, a mile and a half from where the road splits off onto 115. Because I'm pretty sure it was like about the 10-mile mark. And I'm right by the 8.5-mile mark right now. So, but yeah, there's the mountain. There she is right there. Hope my DSLR camera tomorrow will pick up on it better. But so far, this spot is a win in my opinion. There's no flies. It's cooler, and I bet the stars are going to be phenomenal, because I think Morton, either Morton or Cinnabar, are the nearest towns to where I'm at. And those are not big towns at all. Those aren't like really big, light polluting towns. So I'm actually pretty excited, even though this is you know, not as glamorous since I'm literally right on off the road. The views that I have here are just so much better. And sun is setting over there, so I will have a perfect view of the sunrise over somewhere over there by the mountain, I assume. I'll have to find exactly where east is. All right, good evening. Excuse the poor lighting. My iPhone doesn't do the best in low light conditions. It is, I think, around 11:30 at night. Finally got to see the moon come up. Let me try to flip around and show you that. So, of course, to you guys, it looks real crappy on that flicker of light. That is the moon. It's a really almost eerie orange color. Let's see if I turn my inside lights off, if that helps. Not really. Anyway, it's a really beautiful orange color, and I can barely see the outline of the mountain next to it. If I didn't know the mountain was there already, I probably wouldn't be able to see it or notice it at all. It's tempting to stay up late enough for the moon to get high enough in the sky that I could actually see it shining on the mountain, because that's what I had pictured in my mind. But I'm pretty tired, and it's been a struggle to make it this long. I think I could have fallen asleep around 10 easily. I read a couple chapters of book that I have downloaded. It's not Into the Wild, just Wild. Into the Wild is what I have next. Oh, sorry about that. I think I heard rain, or it sounded like rain, which is why I was kind of confused. So I don't think there's any trees above me to have like pine needles falling on my roof, which is also what it kind of sounded like. Anyway, I think that's another thing, is it is so quiet up here. Like earlier, what I thought was a car or something off in the distance was actually plane. But it's just so quiet that, I mean, I don't normally actually hear planes unless they're really low or like a military plane flying by. But I was actually able to hear planes that are like a tiny speck up in the sky, so not used to this level of quiet. I mean, even my house is not this quiet because we're right next to the highway. You know, it's kind of weird. I mean, it's cool, but it's kind of eerie at the same time. So I was thinking earlier that I might be the only person in this whole area. I mean, other than the watchman for the logging stuff, that's maybe, I don't know, maybe 5 miles from here. And possibly the person in the van that was at the end of 115 that I saw. But yeah, it's so quiet that I think anytime I actually hear something, I'm like, oh my god, what was that? Definitely a little, I guess a little on the spooked side that, you know, someone or something can be out there. I'm just not used to, I guess I've gotten so used to city noise or town noise that being out in the wilderness, just completely quiet, is a little funky. But the stars are beautiful. I can actually see the Milky Way and not just kind of a faint, oh, I think that's it. Not sure what happened to the rest of the audio and stuff there. Guessing my phone died or something. But anyway, that ends today's video. There will be a part 2 from this camp out where I actually end up exploring more of the area, take some really awesome pictures. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and stay tuned for the next video. And as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and give it a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you next time.